Right, we're joined by Timbers head coach Phil Neville. We'll just start it off with questions. Who wants to start? Jeremy, I see you eyeing it.
So what has the recovery process been since RSL, and are there any players who didn't travel with the team who are in line for some minutes tomorrow?
Who didn't travel?
Forey, Pantemis, Zach.
Zach's out. Pantemis is 50-50. Forey's back, so that's good. We got a question over Kelsey, doubtful. Took a knock in the game on Wednesday, but 20 years of age. Hopefully, he's a quick healer. We've got lots of games coming up. So, but apart from that, everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to be involved. The recovery process, we had them in the day after we got back. We got back from RSL pretty quickly because the hour difference, the short flight. In for recovery yesterday, train and light today, and saving all the energy for tomorrow. We're going to need all the energy, all the adrenaline for tomorrow. What I think will be one of those special Providence Park nights.
Hey Phil, just curious to get your thoughts on how difficult it is to manage minutes throughout the roster at this stage of the season. For example, Claudio didn't play much to start the year, but the last 4 games he started. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean it takes planning. I learned at first hand because I was always part of a rotation as a player. So I learned at first hand, from one of the greatest of how to manage people, how to manage the minutes, but more about how to manage the player. And I always think that if you plan. You can't just think about the next game all the time. You've got to think about maybe 3-4 games in advance. You've got to let players know when they're going to get their minutes, because I think when you're playing so many games in such a short space of time, players need routine. They need consistency, and you look at say for instance Zupric. He's played the last two 7 days. Paredes has done the same. There's games next week. You can almost guarantee players minutes in those games, so they can mentally get prepared for each game. Yes, they're going to be involved at some aspects of other games, but I think it's vital that you give the respect to the players to let them know what the plan is, because there's nothing worse than just coming in day to day and not knowing where your next minute's coming from. How do I prepare for the next game? What more training do I have to do compared to more recovery modalities? And I think that's really important. I played for a manager and at a club that we played every 3 days, so it had to be science. It had to be that way. And so in this period, I feel as if we plan it really good. There is obviously got to be adaptability within that, but. I think what we've got at the moment, we've got 22, 23 players that are knowing full well. I've told them, I've promised them that they're going to play minutes, so then they're all dialed in, and we're going to need every single one of them. We've got Seattle at home, San Jose away, Orlando away, then Colorado to finish off this stretch. And by the Colorado game, there's going to be bumps and bruises and fatigue that we're going to have to be prepared for. So everybody's going to have to be ready for the big moment, and so we're happy with where the squad's at, from a physical, tactical, and more importantly, from a mental point of view.
Hi, Phil. Good morning.
Morning.
Just want to get your answer on Seattle is a tough team. They've been building up this entire year. They had a fluke of first few games this season, but now they're back up and they're chasing the Timbers on those top spots. What do you tell your team about the intensity of this game, and how aggressive are you going to come out for those 90 minutes?
Well, I mean, it's a derby game, so we're going to be intense. We're going to be aggressive, but so are they. They rotated the majority of their team on Wednesday night. We know that this is a game where we can open up a gap or they can close the gap. We know that Seattle are going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, and I say that from a point of view of they've got a manager with experience that knows how to manage a season, manage a group of players, and they've got a set of players that I think are real battle-hardened in terms of the way that they know how to pick up results. Whenever you think that they're wobbling Seattle, they always tend to go on a run of 4 or 5 games, like they have done at this moment in time. So we respect them. But I think what our strength has been over the last 3 or 4 months has been that we're focusing totally on us. We have to be at our best. We have to play our way. We have to be focused and disciplined and concentrated. And if we do that, it'll give us a really good opportunity to get points on the board again. And you know, the West is tight. Everybody's beating each other. There are teams that are in really good form. There are teams that are coming back into form. And I think this period, we're coming out of this period, will probably tell us where we're going to be probably from now to the end of the season.
Diego Chara has played in 36 of these games between Portland and Seattle, almost more than anybody combined on the rest of your team. How does that show itself in tomorrow night's game?
Well, I think when you play that many games for Diego, it's probably just another game. It's no different than playing KC or Salt Lake City away. It's I always think that the first 10 are probably the ones where you feel it the most, the first 10 derbies of your career. Then you become battle-hardened to it. Then you become used to it. You know how to handle the occasion then. For Diego, this is it's not like a training session, but in terms of his preparation, it won't differ from any other. The only thing he will do, he will hopefully be leading in that dressing room to make sure that everybody knows the expectation of the club, but more importantly, our supporters.
The content team has gotten a behind-the-scenes look at some of your pregame and halftime speeches.
Yeah.
For Seattle, do you practice that at all, or it's all spur of the moment?
No, I mean, you know, I like to plan most things, meetings and stuff like that. But I think I've always gone into my pre-match talks. There's sometimes maybe 60 seconds before I enter the dressing room, I still don't really fully know what I'm going to say. And then I go in there and I get a smell. I just feel it. And, you know, sometimes it gets to 30 seconds before and I think, shit, what am I going to say here? But there's a framework, but there's the bit that I like to leave right to the very last bit is the connection bit, the emotional bit, the feeling. The feeling I think is really important. So you know, I think I like to be authentic. I like to feel what's in my gut, and you know, that's the way that I work. I don't like going in there with a rehearsed speech, because I think it doesn't feel as authentic as going in there and, for instance, seeing Diego Chara will probably bring something into my mind, or seeing a young person making his debut in this type of fixture, or sometimes it's just seeing what Jimmy Forey or Santi Moreno's come dressed to the game in, or just spark some kind of joke or emotion or something like that.
And then just one specific threat that Seattle's really good at, just they're really good getting the ball into the box, cutting it back, scoring goals from just around the 6-yard box.
Simple, isn't it?
Yeah, simple.
Yeah.
But against the San Jose game, you said we didn't really deal with the cutbacks that well. Against RSL, both you and Kamal said, hey, we did a pretty good job with the cutbacks. So just how has that particular aspect of defending just improved over the past couple of weeks, especially against the team that's
I've got to
the
say
best one at it?
The teams that we've played recently have been teams that cut back crosses. So I think in the San Jose game was the first game this season where it wasn't really necessarily the back four. It was probably the midfield four coming back into that space. You know, we obviously look at oppositions. That space is really dangerous because you can get fragmented in midfield. Wingers don't sometimes come back. So that's probably the areas that most teams are exploiting. It's true that Seattle are really good on cutbacks. And we've got to defend them well. We've got to defend well in general because they put 5-6 on the highest line. They've got quality. They've got experience, and it's a derby game. We've got to be brave. We've got to be aggressive. We've got to show our qualities. We've got to go out there and play our game and raise the intensity from the other night.
Phil, last question for me. Hear me out. When you win on Saturday, what are the chances that that you're going to join the Gut the Fish celebration?
Probably won't. You know, there's lots of things happening after the game. I feel as if after the game, the log ceremony, obviously, hopefully, the Gut the Fish, which happened last year, is something that the players and the supporters can connect on. I think that's really important. We want to show respect. We want our supporters to enjoy it. We want our players to enjoy that log ceremony, hopefully, with 3 or 4 logs being lifted up in the air, which would be fantastic. One being a clean sheet, obviously. You know, but I think the time at the end of the game is for the supporters, not for me. You know, there's many moments, hopefully, in the future where there'll be times for us to enjoy it as a whole club. But this game is about the supporters. And I'd say that at the end of a week like we've just had, we need them more than we've ever needed them. Why? Because their energy, we want to make it hostile, we want to make it intimidating, and we want to make it loud. And the reason I fully committed to this club 12 months ago, 14 months ago, was really for moments like this, because of the supporters, because of the stadium, because of the atmosphere. That was one of the biggest reasons. And so tomorrow is another one of those moments when we want to enjoy and we want to be successful.
Okay, we'll wrap it there. Thanks for the time,
Life
Phil.
story, that was, wasn't it? Jilly.
We'll have Diego Char up next.